Look, I expect the best Boots version of himself. I expect the best Xander. Boots got more pop on his shots. Boots I think is more talented out of the two. Boots do have some Boots does have some hope, but so does Xander, man. I mean, look, I think it's gonna boil down to who wants it most. To be honest with you, who wants it most?
He's gonna be ready for battle. He's gonna be ready for battle, but I'm gonna be ready for war. It's two different things in there, you know. It's a different mentality when you go in there. He's never been in a position where he had to adjust. He's always had it his way, you know. So when you have somebody making you think, when you have somebody making you react to something, at some point the body is not used to it, and the body won't react as fast as you want it to react. The brain won't tolerate what it's getting, and it's not gonna give it or dish it out as fast as you want it to dish it out. So when it comes down to that, I just feel like I got the advantage. I've been uncomfortable before.
And you looking at it the way you looking at it, and I gotta respect it. I might be wrong. But if you want to make a little wager, you let me know and we can make one. I like Jaron Ennis in this fight, and I believe all that fundamental stuff is overrated in this particular matchup.
You know, Boots, I noticed with Boots also, he tend to, it's like when you fight movers and shit, you know, Boots start coming forward and making mistakes and shit, you know, but he be letting his hands go. And, you know, once he gets himself in a good rhythm, you know, and he catch your ass and he catch your ass with a mean ass sequence, he can hurt you. Oh, he can hurt you. You know, you get a little bit overly overzealous and you start letting your hands go because your Boots can be hit. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's stepping back and he's shooting shots underneath. He catch you with shit you don't see.
All right. I mean, it's a lot of things. Again, like all I was saying, it's a lot of things that need to be done. That's it. It's a lot of things. It's the first 50-50 fight he ever been in, especially the first 50-50 fight outside of Philly or New Jersey, which is literally 45 minutes down the street from his house. This is the first fight that he been in with a guy that's bigger than him. It's the first fight with a guy that's bigger than him and he can box. It's his first fight. It's his first real fight at 154.
The boxing world is entirely convinced Jaron Boots Ennis is going to absolutely destroy his next opponent. And fans and analysts alike are treating the upcoming June 27th mega fight like a mere formality. A simple stepping stone for the division's most feared competitor. But a Hall of Fame legend just stepped up to the mic and exposed a massive glaring flaw in Boots' game. It is a hidden weakness that could completely ruin his undefeated record and derail his entire career. While everyone is predicting an easy knockout for Ennis, Timothy Bradley sees a massive upset brewing.
I see too much exposure on that left side. Way too much exposure on that left side. He gonna have to keep that motherfucking left hand glued to his face because that overhand right of Boots is lethal. It's lethal, man. And Boots turned that uppercut up the middle too, especially from the southpaw stance when Xander's leaning forward, man. Another lethal shot, but man, I see a lot of holes in Xander's game, especially when you start to put that pressure on him. Yeah. He try to get the fuck out of Dodge. He don't want none of that heat. Nah, he don't like the heat like that. He like his space. His system requires distance. Can he fight a little bit inside? A little bit inside. It's not a specialty. Nah, he want to be able to work the combinations as you throwing shots. He looking for shots to be able to counter in between with shit, or he looking to start his shit, start the action, boom, weave underneath shots, counter, boom, boom, and then he on to the next. He around that corner, right? He turned the corner on you. You know, Boots. I noticed with Boots also, he tend to it's like when you fight movers and shit, you know, Boots start coming forward and making mistakes and shit, you know, but he be letting his hands go. And, you know, once he gets himself in a good rhythm, you know, and he catch your ass with a mean ass sequence, he can hurt you. Oh, he can hurt you. You know, you get a little bit overly overzealous and you start letting your hands go because your Boots can be hit. And then all of a sudden, he's stepping back and he's shooting shots underneath. He catch you with shit you don't see.
The industry is heavily underestimating Xander Zayas, treating him like a sacrificial lamb heading straight for the slaughter. Major boxing figures have essentially written off the 23-year-old unified champion before the opening bell even rings. Look at the brutal predictions floating around the boxing circles right now. Coach Reg went on record calling for a nasty knockout by the 5th round, claiming the gap in physical tools and raw skill is just too vast to overcome.
We'll see. We'll see come June 27th. Let me know, man. If you want to make a little side wager.
Nah, I'm going to tell you right now, Coach, I got this as a 50-50 fight. I'm going to be honest with you, I do. I got it as a 50-50 fight. I want to look more at Xander a little bit more.
Mills, guess what? You have a right to feel that way. You got eyes. You are not as high on Boots as I am. And you looking at it the way you looking at it, and I got to respect it. I might be wrong. But if you want to make a little wager, you let me know and we can make one. I like Jaron Ennis in this fight, and I believe all that fundamental stuff is overrated in this particular matchup.
Okay. And I want to see it. I want to see what you see. I do. Okay. Because I like to see that at the highest level possible.
Do you promise me this? Because I can promise you this. Mm-hmm. If I'm wrong, I was wrong. If I'm right, you do the same and say, you know what?
100.
You was right about Boots all along.
Yeah.
You was right about him all along.
Legends like Roy Jones Jr. and Paulie Malignaggi have chimed in stating Boots operates on a completely different planet. They argue that applying any technical game plan against Ennis is virtually impossible when he brings his absolute best. The overarching narrative is that Zaz's team made a fatal error taking a fight this dangerous so early in his career. The pressure and doubt surrounding the young fighter are suffocating, painting a picture of an inevitable violent defeat.
Last one, Zayas Boots announced today. Any thoughts on that?
For sure,
one?
huh?
Yeah,
wow.
Announced this morning. Yeah,
I'll tell you, man. That was the zone really putting their head in the game right away, man. I did not think that Zayas fight with Ennis could be made so quickly. I thought, especially from the top rank perspective, there was a play with a couple of years still for Zayas to develop into his prime, while Ennis maybe needs it right now. And so the fight being made, I think, is more advantageous to Ennis, I think, because with Zayas, when you have a marketable fighter like that, you can take your time as to when, Canelo was the king of this, it's not who you fight, it's when you fight them. You fight them when they're not so much at their best, so to speak. So for Zayas to take on Ennis right now, when Ennis has been pretty much shrieking, that's a credit to Zayas, and it's a credit to Top Rank for having faith in their guy, but it's a tough fight. This is a really good fight. And I don't know that Zayas has reached his peak yet. So, are you risking him not reaching his peak if Ennis, hurts him and changes him, It's another thing. You're taking a chance here with Zayas. But Zayas is a hungry guy. I've always known that Zayas, lives this life and, has very lofty goals. So this is a big opportunity for Zayas. If Zayas wins this fight, especially with the Puerto Rican background and having all that, all that fanfare, he steps into a big superstardom situation.
Then came the highly controversial take that sent absolute shock waves through the boxing community. Tim Bradley aggressively pushed back against the narrative of a one-sided blowout. He fired back at the critics, pointing out a specific fatal flaw in the supposedly perfect armor of Jaron Ennis. Bradley broke down Boots' footwork with surgical precision, highlighting a dangerous habit that most casual observers completely missed. He explained that when Boots shifts angles, he frequently steps to the right with his left foot first. This causes him to momentarily cross his leg, breaking his stance and leaving him totally off balance. In a sport where a fraction of a second dictates everything in the ring, stepping with the wrong foot is a cardinal sin. Bradley warned that making this exact mistake against a high IQ fighter is a guaranteed recipe for disaster.
They thinking that this fight gonna be a slam dunk for freaking Boots Ennis. You crazy. You crazy if you think this fight gonna be a slam dunk for him. Who was the last technical guy that Boots fought, man? Karen? Come on, man. He getting in there with a young gun, man, just as hungry and energetic as he is. You understand that? Bigger than he is. Probably just as strong as he is. High boxing IQ, just as well as he does. You know, got skills, good counterpuncher, good legs, good movement. Can throws in bunches, got a left hook. Which is the punch that Boots get hit with most. You know, like, Boots got the right hand that Xander gets hit with most. You know, this ain't gonna be no damn slam dunk. This probably might be like a half court shot. Yeah, for both these dudes, man. You know, like, Xander like guys that come forward. And you already know Boots is gonna be aggressive. Boxing coming forward. You know, his game, he gets too impatient sometimes. Because he's constantly on the hunt looking for a knockout and looking to counter. You know, we know Boots like to be first. We know he likes to bring the action and bring the pain. You know, he needs to learn discipline. That's it. And Xander's that guy that can make him learn that real fast, because Xander's one of those dudes that's going to tax your mistakes. That's what he does. He tax these guys that come forward, he tax their mistakes. Now he's in there with a quick guy, in the athletic fighter in Boots Ennis. But, you know, Boots make mistakes. He make mistakes. He does. And fleet-footed guys have shown to give him issues. Guys that are slick, guys that can move, have given him issues.
This hidden footwork flaw connects directly to Xander Zayas' absolute biggest strength. Zayas is not just some energetic brawler hoping for a lucky punch. He is a highly intelligent, precise counter-puncher who perfectly matches Boots in physical size. Bradley pointed out that Zayas possesses a devastating left hook, which happens to be the exact punch Boots has a documented history of getting caught with. When Ennis crosses his feet to shift, his defense opens up right down the middle, making him a prime target. Zaz is exactly the type of elite sniper built to heavily tax those exact defensive blunders.
Boots got a big fight coming up against Xander.
He got a big fight against Xander, man. Yeah, the young gun. So, I mean, the
How do you
young
see
gun
that fight going?
Man, it's a tough fight, man. I got Boots. I just think that he's ultra talented. However, I mean, Xander could surprise him, man. You know, look, I expect the best Boots version of himself. I expect the best Xander. Boots got more pop on his shots. Boots is, I think, is more talented out of the two. Boots do have some. Boots does have some hope, but so does Xander, man. I mean, look, I think it's gonna boil down to who wants it most. To be honest with you, who wants it most? It's gonna be a dogfight, man. Xander don't mind. He don't mind going toe to toe if he needs to. I know he's gonna probably try to box, but Boots is coming to get his ass, bro. He's coming to prove a point. And we should get a hell of a fight from that, bro.
Do you think experience might be the ultimate factor here? Because I know you said Boots just got to the division, but he's got more fights under his belt, and also Xander is younger.
Yeah, I think experience could be a factor here. But, I mean, Boots ain't used to going 12 rounds. Boots ain't used to going 12 rounds either. I mean, usually he's knocking these dudes out before he goes 12 rounds. And then when you look at the competition that he's faced, it's been, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing been popping out like, crazy. Xander, you can say the same thing about Xander too. I think it's the perfect matchup right now for both these guys. Although I feel like Xander might be a little bit too premature, you know what I mean? Because I know he's a champion. I know he's defended his title. He picked up another strap right after. Like, his mindset is like mature for his age. But I just think that, like, man, Boots may be a little bit too much for him at this point, just based off talent.
Respected minds like Robert Garcia and Bill Haney are backing this theory up, boldly labeling Zaz as the real deal who poses a legitimate threat. They see a young, hungry athlete with the size and unwavering confidence needed to capitalize on a single slip-up.
What are your thoughts on that fight?
Look, it's a great fight, and Boots getting those challenges out there, Xander deciding to fight Boots on a very dangerous, challenging fight for himself. You gotta respect, that decision. If the Virgil fight didn't happen, and then Virgil versus Boots is not happening, and Xander stepping in, gotta respect that kid, for being 23 and taking those challenges. You gotta respect that, My pick, I would probably say, goes to Boots because talent-wise, but Xander's positive about himself, man. He sounds very confident. I talked to him and he's very confident, very positive. So definitely gave him a shot, man. You know, Boots has never been in that division for long. You know, only one fight in one round, so it could make a big difference. Xander's a big boy, man. Xander's a big boy that might be looking to moving up to 160, in the near future. So it's gonna be an interesting fight.
Social media immediately erupted into a chaotic civil war over this massive revelation. Viral clips flooded Instagram showing Bradley literally mimicking Boots' footwork mistakes on camera, demonstrating exactly how the disaster could unfold. The comment sections turned into an absolute battleground. Die-hard Team Boots fans flooded the timelines, accusing Bradley of being a bitter hater, desperately trying to find holes in a flawless fighter. They argue that sheer speed, switch hitting, and ungodly power will completely overwhelm any technical strategy Zayas attempts to execute. Meanwhile, boxing purists and a passionate Puerto Rican fan base rallied behind Bradley's breakdown. On platforms like Reddit, fierce debates are raging. The purists point out that Boots has never faced a counterpuncher with this specific combination of size, youth, and ring intelligence at 154 pounds. The tension online is palpable as fans draw battle lines based on a few seconds of analyzed footwork.
I say, look, hold on, Chris Papa. What did I say that sounded any bit like hate? Wait, has Boots ever been in there with a mover other than Karen at all?
No. And I ain't say you was hating.
Chris Van Herden.
Okay. Chris Van Herden was no, sir.
He was moving.
Stop.
He was moving
Stop.
in a circle.
And then that fight, he didn't even win that fight. We didn't know. That was a no contest. That was a no contest.
It was gonna get dirty.
It was a no contest. What?
It was gonna get dirty in there.
So you should
go out for it. Go out for it. I'm on the phone.
Right.
Go out for it.
He ain't never been in there with nobody.
Close the door.
Professionally moves like a Xander. You know what I mean? But we have a thing of giving people credit for certain things when they want to give credit to them. Boots been in there with great boxers since starting boxing. We don't give Boots credit for what he did in the amateurs, who he's fought in the amateurs. You know what I mean? Boots has fought great boxers.
All right, we ain't finna do this because you're gonna try to make me look like a hater. Look, I want to do it because you're gonna try to make me look like a hater. I want to talk about what I said. Listen, no. I'm saying it's going to make me look like a hater. I asked you, have you ever? You said no, so that other than Karen, the answer is no, correct?
We didn't hear
correct?
Like the last two words.
Can you hear me? I said that he never been in there with a boxer, a good boxer other than Karen. Is that correct?
Professionally, no, he is not.
Okay, so that wasn't hate. That was never the. That's all I do is post facts. So look, another thing, has he ever been in there with anybody as big as Xander Zayas?
No.
Professionally, no, he is not.
So my thing is this. Everything I said was this needs to be seen and proven. Do you understand that?
No, listen, I'm not disagreeing with that. We on the same page, right?
There is a dark, untold secret looming over this fight that could flip the entire narrative right back in Ennis's favor. Bradley dropped another major piece of information that changes the entire complexion of the bout. Xander Zayas is naturally a massive human being, reportedly walking around 200 pounds between training camp. The brutal weight cut to drain his body down to the 154 pounds limit is agonizing, and it comes with a severe physical cost.
Look, I just got done studying some Xander Zayas, man. Late in the fight, he begins to fade. You know, round 8, 9, he starts to fade. Yeah. You know, he starts to fade because all that weight he put on. You know, he put on so much weight in between fights. Boots, his ass put on weight too. You know, I'm eating all them Philly cheese steaks and shit. You know, I don't know what the hell Xander be eating over there in fucking Puerto Rico or Florida, or whatever the hell he is. I know they got some good ass restaurants out there. I'm not gonna lie, especially in Puerto Rico. God, ooh, they got some good ass food. You can look at me and tell I love to eat. But, yeah, but see, the problem is he be pulling all that weight, 25, 30 pounds off. Man, I watched that interview yesterday, and I seen how big Xander lips was. I said, God damn, that boy got some big ass head is big as hell, neck was fat. I'm like, God, this dude is big. He look like he about 175. And he come all the way down to 54. Shit, that shit drains him. That shit drains him. And it pulls from his legs. And in the later rounds, he started to get fatigued. And I noticed that. I even noticed that in the last fight. You know, he tried to keep it together with good technique. But shit, you can't hide that shit from me. You can't hide that from me, man. Went back, watched the film, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is standardized type of pressure that this dude been putting on him all night. It ain't no special effects. You know what I'm saying? He ain't cutting the angles and looking to cut him off. Occasionally, he will follow his ass once he, if he goes Xander, pulls out left, he'll try to, meet him with a left hook or meet him with a right hand. But, it wasn't nothing that was like crazy. With head movement, the shit that Boots gonna be doing, all that head movement and sliding, tucking and moving on angles and shit. Boots, that's what Boots gonna attack his ass late. And Boots got power. He got major power, man. And there's spots where I see Xander, he just gets himself in some bad spots, man.
Industry insiders are whispering that this extreme reduction drains his legs significantly as the fight drags into the later stages. Bradley himself noted that if Zaz does not land that perfect left hook and end things early, a terrifying reality sets in. By round 8 or 9, his gas tank could be completely empty. Once those legs give out, he will be stranded in the center of the ring, completely exposed to a late round onslaught by a relentless finisher like Ennis.
So, look, man, if there's gonna be a stoppage, because I'm seeing a lot of people in the comment section talk about, Boots can stop him late, and I'm like, I don't know, but now, I see it. I do see it late. Yeah, there's an opportunity for Boots, and Boots, he a dog, man. I'm telling you, this fight gonna boil down to who got more dog in him, man, for real. Because Xander will stand and fight. He will stand and fight. It's his nature. And he got his corner that's going to try to reel his ass in. Hey, man, keep boxing. What you doing? Don't fight with this motherfucker. Don't fight with him because he's too strong. And Boots, he run out of ideas. And all Boots want to do is make it a street war. Like, you know what? It's going to be a street fight, me and you. I don't give a shit. I'm going to take your best. You ain't going to be able to take mine because I know my shit is hot and spicy for your ass, and he gonna just come and try to take your head off, and every shot he gonna be throwing is gonna be a death blow. So, hey, look, if there's gonna be a stoppage, it's gonna be late. It ain't gonna be early. It's gonna be late. Not unless it's like a flash knockdown or something. But nah, I see a late stoppage possibly for Boots, or the distance. I can also see, Xander winning on the scorecards if he can stay up, on his feet late and win some of those back end rounds, man. But I'm telling Boots gonna come on strong as hell in the end, man, because he gonna need to. I think he might get outboxed and outmaneuvered early on, but I think he's going to have to turn into a straight up.
The energy currently leaking out of both training camps is nothing short of obsessive. Jaron Ennis is not taking this challenge lightly despite the overwhelming public hype padding his ego. Rumors from his camp suggest he bypassed the usual gradual buildup and started training at full throttle from day one. Boots is treating this like a final clash, meticulously polishing his defense to ensure he leaves zero doubt in the ring.
It's a 60-40 split for sure. It's a 60-40 split for sure.
Well, in that case, does the fight go the distance in your eyes?
It's a coin toss on that. It's a coin toss on that. Why? Boots gonna feel his power too. Boots gonna feel Shorty's power too. And at some point, I feel like he's gonna get responsible. He's gonna get responsible, but he's still gonna have that belief in himself. Like, I'm gonna still whoop his ass. It's alright. Oh, he got some thump though. He was working with Canelo. You see, he was working with Canelo. Right, Canelo got those thumpers in both hands. Everybody knows it. That's what I'm saying. I felt like Canelo, he was just going for somebody that was a little more crafty and faster. Boots is a smaller fighter, faster, a little more hand speed, and he's crafty. You know what I mean? That's what Canelo was going for as far as camp-wise. dealing with this opponent that he had, Terrence Crawford. But I mean, hey, Bud ain't Boots Ennis and vice versa. You can't train for somebody, you know, to the T, thinking that you're gonna bring a sparring partner and he's gonna get you ready to the T. You still gotta go in there and adapt to the person that you gotta fight. You know, that's just...
On the other side, Zayas is using the heavy industry disrespect as pure combustible fuel. Having just secured a massive multi-year extension with Top Rank, the young unified champion is heavily motivated to silence the doubters forever. He recently stated he plans to be 10 steps ahead on fight night, turning the widespread skepticism into extreme mental sharpness. Every single session is driven by the urgent need to shock the globe. This matchup is a ticking time bomb waiting to detonate under the bright lights in Brooklyn. The stakes could not possibly be higher for these two elite athletes. It all comes down to a razor-thin margin of error. Will Xander as perfectly exploit that fatal footwork flaw and land a life-changing left hook before his drained body gives out? Or will Jaron Ennis weather the early storm, drag his opponent into the deep, dark waters of the championship rounds, and execute a brutal finish? The boxing community remains deeply divided, holding its breath for the opening bell. It forces you to wonder about the reality of the sport's current landscape. Is Tim Bradley a visionary boxing genius, seeing the hidden truth everyone else missed? Or is he just overanalyzing minor flaws to critique the current face of the division? We want you to answer these questions. Also, don't forget to share your predictions in the comments below. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned and we will catch you in the next.